My child, my beloved, you are not here by accident. This message has been touched by heaven, pushed through barriers that were never meant to open, and placed before your eyes at this exact second for a reason. You will soon understand. A wealthy man, richer than some nations, spoke your name with his final breath. Now Archangel Michael has been released with this message, because what that man said in secret, God has chosen to reveal before it disappears forever. My beloved, something supernatural is unfolding. I am watching the clock, and I am watching your hesitation. Open this message with your heart wide and your eyes ready, because heaven is preparing to show you what was hidden, my child. You may not remember him, but this man remembered you. He kept something written, protected, and stored away. And when the doctors whispered that only minutes remained, his final concern was not wealth, power, or reputation. He did not call for his bank manager, and he did not ask for his lawyers. He whispered your name, and everyone in the room became still. No one expected to hear it, because that moment was more than a dying man speaking. That was prophecy beginning to fulfill itself. If you close this message or ignore it like others before, the gift connected to that moment, the inheritance heaven placed near your name, may quietly move into someone else's hands. My beloved, I have not come to frighten you. I have come to deliver what was written in secret and protected until this hour. Do not skip past what heaven has finally allowed to reach you, because this moment is sacred. Before we go further, I must ask you with divine urgency to subscribe to this message with your spirit, not through fear, but through faith, because every second you keep reading brings you closer to what God has pursued you with for years. Archangel Michael stands as your messenger and protector in this moment. If you remain until the end, your name will be lifted in places where heaven keeps records, and this decision will be remembered in the spirit. Subscribe not only with your fingers, but with your choice to keep going. Let your soul stay open, because what comes next may reveal why your name was remembered, why the secret was preserved, and why heaven chose now. This is the only way to make sure what's coming won't miss you again. My child, my beloved, you've seen signs before. Would you brush them off? You heard whispers in your dreams, felt goosebumps when no one was near. So repeating numbers, and woke up feeling like someone was calling you. That wasn't your imagination. That was preparation. Because this moment, this exact minute was always going to come. And now I have been released from the gates of heaven with one instruction: reveal to you what was kept hidden. What is man, this wealthy soul, said before he passed, was only part of the prophecy. The rest is unfolding now through this message. This is not just about money. This is about identity. You don't know how many meetings in the unseen realm were held with your name mentioned. You don't know how many hands try to block this from reaching you. But God said enough, and now heaven is pushing this straight into your heart with one demand: do not stop reading, because if you do, the moment will close and someone else, someone near you, will take what was meant for. And I promise you it has happened before, but this time it's your turn. and it must not pass again. My beloved, let me show you the truth now. That man, he saw your face before he left. Not physically, no, but in a divine vision, a dream that repeated for 7 days straight. He kept saying, "Who is this person? Why do I see their hands holding keys and wealth and light?" He didn't understand it, but now we do. Because you were chosen before birth to carry something heavy and powerful, and heaven will not let you miss it again. That's why you're still here. That's why no matter how far you try to run, this message has found you. Do you know how many people tried to claim what was being prepared for you? 2 people connected to you, close enough to hug you, laugh with you, smile beside you, but not chosen like you. These 2 are not evil in appearance, but heaven sees the heart, and Archangel Michael sees her. And what they're doing behind the scenes, what they've whispered, the accounts they've opened, the messages they've deleted, is all part of an unseen theft that you never saw coming. My beloved, they are trying to take what is not theirs, and I cannot let that happen if you stay with me right now. My child, the truth may sting, but you were never meant to live in lack. You were never meant to suffer or carry the burden of a generational curse that keeps you working and working without ever truly receiving. That curse was supposed to break years ago, but it didn't because someone around you stopped it. They took something they were never supposed to touch. But now heaven is stepping in again. And this time the miracle is armed. The angels have surrounded this message, and I'm begging you, don't scroll away. What was hidden is about to be opened to you if you stay until the final word. My beloved, what if I told you a number has been written in heaven beside your name, a number so great that if you saw it, you would doubt it. But it's real. And the wealthiest man saw connected to your spirit was not just physical, it's legacy wealth, destiny wealth, kingdom wealth, but it must be claimed. And the moment you open this message, a countdown began. You don't have time to delay. You don't have the luxury of comfort. This is not a test. It's a divine activation, and you, my child, are at the center of it. You see, the moment that rich man spoke your name, something in the spiritual world cracked open, a file was retrieved, an inheritance was unsealed, a divine transfer was approved. But because of what was stolen years ago by people close to you, the full release was delayed. Now, for the first time, God has said, let it go to them. They have waited long enough. And so here I am, set with fire and urgency to whisper to you, don't miss this again. Don't close this. Don't let what's yours be stolen by familiarity. Stay until I show you everything. My child, even now, those 2 people can sense something changing. They felt it, they've grown restless. That's why some of them are suddenly being nice. Others are avoiding you, because in their spirit they felt a shift. Heaven has begun to surround you with light, and they can't stop what's coming. But you must stay hidden for now. Not silent, but spiritually still, until I, Archangel Michael, reveal the rest. See you in this message, because what comes next will explain everything. And after that, you will never question your worth again. The inheritance I spoke of, the one that was mentioned in the final words of that wealthy man, is not simply a bank figure. It is a shift in authority, a spiritual deed to ownership over your own future, and you must hold it carefully. There will be people who come back once they sense your energy rising, but you will now see through their intentions, not with anger, but with truth, not with revenge, but with light. The very light that once made you a target is now your protection. They cannot touch what is sealed by heaven. And yes, I told you earlier, the final part of this blessing is still to be revealed, and that is true. But here is what you must understand before it arrives. You must prepare a place in your heart that is not full of fear. You must prepare space in your soul that is not entangled with those who no longer belong. Because the next part of this miracle requires space. And I don't just mean physical room. I mean emotional, spiritual, mental space. Make room for the blessing, or it will come and pass like a breeze you couldn't hold on to. My beloved, hear me now. What is for? You cannot be stolen, but it can be postponed. And you've waited long enough. The time is now. The gates are opening, and your name is being spoken again, not in death, but in destiny. And this time, when your name is mentioned, it will be followed by honor, it will be followed by access, and it will be followed by reward. There's still more to show you, still more to unlock. The scroll is not yet empty, and the words that are still to come are the ones you were born to hear. My child, my beloved, what's about to be revealed to you now is the part that changes everything. This is no longer about warnings. This is about fulfillment. Do you have walked through the fire? Do you have waited with pain? You have listened when heaven was silent. But now the silence has broken, and what you are reading is not just prophecy anymore. It is your permission to enter what was delayed for too long. For so long, you have questioned your own spirit. You've asked, why do I feel so close to something but nothing ever happens? That's because your name was already assigned to the miracle, but your heart was still surrounded by people who had no right to receive it with you. You see, some blessings are too sacred to be shared with people who never wept with you. And that's why it was delayed, not denied. Delayed until the moment came when heaven could trust you not to give your blessing to someone who secretly hoped you would fail. My beloved, I've been assigned to walk with you through this next part. You don't have to do it alone. This is not just spiritual. It will manifest in real physical ways, but only after your soul receives the full truth. And the truth is this: you are no longer under financial limitation. You are no longer the victim of emotional manipulators. You are no longer the easy target of those who smile, but secretly feed off your delay. Heaven has made a final decision, and that decision is this: it is your time. My child, the very energy around you is changing as you read these words. Some of you may feel warmth, some may feel chills, some may feel sudden emotion rising. That's not random. That's your spirit recognizing the voice of God calling it forward. This isn't emotional trickery. This is divine timing. You've stumbled on this for a reason, and I'm telling you now, if you stop reading before I show you the final release, it will lock again, not out of cruelty, but because this moment is a sacred appointment. Now listen closely. The rich man's final words carried more than just a whisper. They carry the code And this code was meant to unlock a heavenly vault only when the one chosen had fully awakened. You, my beloved, are that one. His soul saw your name written in light, and with trembling hands and final breath, he said what needed to be said. Let it go to them. They will know what to do with it. Those words created a spiritual pathway, and you are walking on it right now, even as your eyes read these lines. Do you remember the nights you cried into your pillow asking God, when will it be my turn? Do you remember the birthdays you spent alone, the opportunities you lost, the people you trusted who took more than they ever gave? Heaven remembered too, and that's why this blessing isn't just money. It's not just favor, it's justice. It is justice for the years of being invisible, justice for the doors slammed in your face, justice for the love you gave with no return, justice for the times you chose, right while others succeeded through wrong. This miracle is not a reward. It's a divine correction. You were never behind. You were being hidden until the right moment, and that moment is now. My beloved, I must show you something that few people will ever see. There is a divine document, yes, truly, a spiritual record with your name, your mission, and the resources heaven has assigned to you. It has been locked until now. The two people I warned you about earlier, they've tried to block it, alter it, or claim it as their own, but the seal was too strong. Because your name is written in divine ink, and no counterfeit spirit can erase it. What you're going to notice after this message ends is that certain things start unfolding without you forcing them. That is how you'll know this wasn't just words. Conversations will begin. A message will arrive. A delay will break. Your discernment will sharpen. The people who once made you second-guess yourself will suddenly become uncomfortable in your presence, not because you are walking in right now, and the darkness cannot stand it. And yes, the final part of this message is almost here. It's the part that reveals the next step, the action that activates everything I've shown you. I must deliver it with precision, and I will, but promise me this, child. Don't close this message before you reach the end. If you do, the activation will pause. You'll feel it. The light will dim. The clarity will blur. That's why I repeated this truth. Only the ones who stay with heaven until the final word will unlock what no one else is allowed to see. And you, my beloved, you've already come so far. You're almost there. So let us keep going together. My beloved, I must warn you, if you walk away before the final part of this message, the timing may close. The miracle will not vanish, but the window might, because everything in heaven operates by timing, and this moment is a now or never moment. Not to frighten you, but to show you how rare this is. Some people live their whole lives and never get this close. And you're inches away. Don't lose what you were born to carry. Don't scroll away from the very thing you begged God for in your loneliest prayers. This is no longer just a message. It's a divine transfer. Disguised this text, you have reached the gateway. The final seals are about to be broken, and your name, your true name, the one heaven calls you by, is about to be written next to something permanent, something abundant, something sacred. You are chosen. You are remembered. You are finally ready. And now, the final truth awaits. My child, my beloved, take a deep breath with me now. Let your heart be calm. I am still here, but I want to guide you gently. Not with fear, not with pressure, but with clarity and strength. Heaven does not rush you. God does not threaten you. True miracles arrived with peace, not panic. And what is meant for you will never require you to be afraid to receive it. You have carried heavy questions about money, about trust, about people close to you, and it is okay to feel confused. It is okay to feel hurt. But remember this, my beloved, wisdom is greater than suspicion, and faith is stronger than fear. When I speak to you, it is not to make you anxious about those around you, but to help you become aware of your own worth in boundaries. You are learning to protect your energy. You are learning to value your time. You are learning to say no when something does not feel right. That itself is growth. That itself is a miracle. Not every battle is fought with confrontation. Some are won with clarity and quiet strength. My child, your financial life is not cursed. It is not doomed. It is still being shaped by your decisions, your patience, your consistency. God blesses effort. God honors honesty. And when wealth comes, it stays only where wisdom lives. You are being prepared for stability, not sudden chaos, for peace, not pressure, for security, not fear. Do not look at people around you with suspicion. Instead, look at yourself with courage. Ask yourself, am I managing my money wisely? Am I protecting my future? Am I trusting the right people with my plans? These questions are power. This is how destiny is built step by step with awareness and discipline. My beloved, heaven is not trying to scare you about loss. Heaven is teaching you responsibility. You are being shown how to stand strong, how to think clearly, how to guard your goals. That is the true blessing. That is the true miracle. The rich man you heard about, his story reminds you that life is short, but purpose is eternal. Use your time wisely. Love deeply. Build carefully. Speak kindly. Save responsibly. These are holy actions. These are divine habits. And now I speak peace over you. Peace over your mind. Peace over your finances. Peace over your relationships. Peace over your future. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not weak. You are growing. You are learning. You are becoming wise. Walk forward with confidence, my child. God walks with you. I stand beside you, and your destiny is safe, my child, my beloved. I honor your decision to stay. Your patience is rare. Your trust is precious, and your presence here is no accident. This message is no longer just a warning. It is now a blessing in motion. A sacred moment wrapped in human words, but breathed out by heaven. I know your eyes have seen much pain. I know your heart has felt betrayal. But what I, Archangel Michael, I'm bringing to you now is not just an answer. It's an inheritance of peace, of clarity, and of divine direction that will not leave you confused anymore. Let me say this clearly. The people who betrayed you cannot betray you again unless you give them permission. And today, heaven is giving you the strength to say no without guilt, the courage to let go without anger, the wisdom to protect what God is finally releasing into your life. This blessing was not delayed because of punishment. It was protected until you were strong enough to handle it. And now look at you. You are still standing. You are still seeking. And you are still chosen. My child, you may not feel like it every day, but you are trusted by heaven with something very rare. Divine favor with divine intelligence. You don't just carry light. You carry vision. And the moment you start trusting that vision, everything changes. That is why I've told you again and again, do not stop reading. Not because this text is magic, but because this is where God chose to meet you today. Not in a building, not in a crowd, but here in this quiet space where heaven could finally whisper to your soul, "You're being guided, my beloved, towards something greater than financial breakthrough. You're being guided toward financial discernment. You are no longer someone who just receives miracles. You are becoming someone who manages them wisely. That is why some opportunities were delayed, because God did not want the blessing to break you. Now it will build you. No, it will teach you how to never lose again what you once cried for. The inheritance I spoke of, the one that was mentioned in the final words of that wealthy man, is not simply a bank figure. It is a shift in authority, a spiritual deed to ownership over your own future, and you must hold it carefully. There will be people who come back once they sense your energy rising, but you will now see through their intentions, not with anger but with truth, not with revenge, but with light. The very light that once made you a target is now your protection. They cannot touch what is sealed by heaven. And yes, I told you earlier, the final part of this blessing is still to be revealed, and that is true. But here is what you must understand before it arrives. You must prepare a place in your heart that is not full of fear. You must prepare space in your soul that is not entangled with those who no longer belong. Because the next part of this miracle requires space. And I don't just mean physical room. I mean emotional, spiritual, mental space. Make room for the blessing, or it will come and pass like a breeze you couldn't hold on to. You see, the moment that rich man spoke your name, something in the spiritual world cracked open. A file was retrieved. An inheritance was unsealed. A divine transfer was approved, but because of what was stolen years ago by people close to you, the full release was delayed. Now, for the first time, God has said, "Let it go to them." They have waited long enough, and so here I am, set with fire and urgency to whisper to you. Don't miss this again. Don't close this. Don't let what's yours be stolen by familiarity. Stay until I show you everything. My child, even now, those two people can sense something changing. They've felt it. They've grown restless. That's why some of them are suddenly being nice. Others are avoiding you because in their spirit they felt a shift. Heaven has begun to surround you with light, and they can't stop what's coming. But you must stay hidden for now, not silent, but spiritually, still, until I, Archangel Michael, reveal the rest to you in this message. Because what comes next will explain everything, and after that, you will never question your worth again. My child, my beloved, I know your heart is racing. Something inside you is telling you this is not just another message. And that feeling is correct. Because this is not a message written by men. This is a release from heaven, signed, sealed, and now opened. Because time has finally caught up with prophecy. What that man said before he passed away, what he saw in the spirit, and what he whispered into the wind was meant to reach you now. My beloved, if you stop reading, you will never know the final piece. You will walk away from something that was purchased in pain but prepared in gold. There is something I must show you now, and I ask you to receive it with your spirit. When that man spoke your name, your divine record was pulled from heaven's vault, and the unseen places began to respond to what had been hidden. Angels gathered as a review began. They looked at every silent tear. Every moment, you helped others while carrying your own lack, and every prayer whispered when no one was watching. Then God declared that you were ready. Do you hear that? My beloved, you are ready, not because you were perfect, but because you refused to stop. This blessing is not being released from pity. It is being released because prophecy has reached its appointed time. My child, I must tell you what those around you do not know. A shift has taken place in the realm of inheritance. What was legally hidden is now being spiritually exposed, and heaven is bringing buried matters into view. There is a document, an asset, a transfer of wealth, or an opportunity that was meant to reach you, but it was blocked. Now 2 people who know the worth of your name are trying to claim what was never assigned to them. They smile in your face and pretend they know nothing. But I see the plans. I see the late-night conversations, the hidden motives, and the quiet strategies. My beloved, I am not here to frighten you. I am here to awaken you. You must understand that the enemy does not fight empty vessels. He fights those who carry destiny. And you, my beloved, carry something eternal, something royal, something heaven refuses to let be stolen, wasted, or buried. That is why this message was pushed through after 3 delays. 3 times. The enemy tried to bury this word, silence the channel, and confuse the path. But I, Archangel Michael, fought through because your name is on this miracle. And now I must ask you again, do not walk away. Not now, and not this time. You are surrounded by people who can sense your future. Yet they only speak about your past because your rising makes them uncomfortable. They pretend they do not know who you are. But deep within, they have sensed it all along. That is why heaven is exposing what was hidden now. Before the wrong hands touch what was written for your life, they know there's something unusual about you. They know doors open for you even when you're silent. They know strange things happen when you pray, and that's why they stay closed. Not to protect you, but to position themselves to receive what was meant for you. My beloved, the spirit of delay was planted by familiarity, but heaven has had enough. And God is saying no more sharing your crown with thieves. You have no idea how many people have used your name in places you've never been. There are blessings that were sent to you, redirected because someone else stood in the way. But this time, Archangel Michael has been sent with a sword of fire. I am cutting through every false connection, every disguised relative, every manipulative friend. I am separating you from the confusion, so that your divine wealth can finally come to you without interception. My beloved, this is the beginning of the divine reversal. But you must stay with me, word by word, or this door will quietly shut again. Let me speak to your soul now. You are not crazy for sensing you've been robbed spiritually. You're not paranoid for feeling like something always pulls you back when you're about to rise. Those feelings are confirmations. What was taken from your family line? Wealth, land, peace, reputation, health is now being restored through you. But only if you open your hands and receive the instruction being given here, because what I'm about to reveal will not be easy, but it will be worth everything. Stay with me, my beloved. Your miracle depends on what you do next. My child, when that rich man mentioned you, even heaven paused, because no one expected it. He was not your blood. He was not your neighbor. But his soul was tied to your name through a covenant from years ago. I promise he made to God when he was young. When he said, "If you ever show me someone who truly carries, raise your light. I'll make sure they're not left empty." He thought he would fulfill that promise in his lifetime. But God had other plans. You were hidden for a time and now revealed. And so, with his final breath, that man activated a miracle for you. Do you know what the hardest part of this message is, my beloved? It's not even after everything you've been through. The people hurting you still think you won't rise. They still think they can keep delaying your future. But what they didn't count on was this moment. They didn't expect you to find this. They didn't expect a heavenly message to interrupt their silent schemes. But here we are. I see them now. I see the names. And I see the plans crumbling. Because when God decides to release a person, no family, no curse, no blockage can stop what comes next. My child, the location of the stolen inheritance is not physical yet. It is energetic. It's spiritual. But what happens in the spirit will manifest on earth. And I must now speak a mystery. The moment you accept what's in this message, the first wave of manifestation will begin. It will not come through the people you expect. It will not come in the way you thought, but it will come true. A phone call, a letter, a name, a strange dream, a conversation overheard. It will come. And when it does, you must recognize it and claim it, because this time it's really for you. My beloved, the two people watching you do not realize something. The very moment they tried to steal what was yours, they triggered their own spiritual exile. They thought they were winning, but all they were doing was confirming your anointing. You see, jealousy always exposes destiny, and no one gets jealous of nothing. They saw something on you that you couldn't even see on yourself, and instead of honoring it, they tried to harvest it. But no more. Archangel Michael is standing between them and your future now. They will not cross the line again unless you invite them. And after today, I know you won't. You have permission to rise now. You have divine clearance to walk into what has always been waiting for you. The chains are gone. The lies are exposed. And your name has been spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. My child, my beloved, your spiritual wealth has been activated. What that man saw in his final moments was not just you. He saw what you would carry. He saw the people who would be saved through your life. He saw the miracles that would flow through your hands. He saw the shift that would begin with you and ripple through generations. And that is why he spoke your name. The moment he did, angels began moving. Portals opened. documents, heavenly ones, were signed in your favor. And now the instructions are simple. Don't walk away. Don't doubt this. Don't stop now, because everything you've waited for is now waiting for you. And what comes next will seal everything. My child, my beloved, you're still here, and that means your spirit has not given up. Heaven is watching this moment carefully, because what you choose now will decide whether your name becomes full. Play aligned with the divine record that was just opened. There are no coincidences. This message, this time, this sequence of events, it's all part of a much larger divine or orchestration. God is speaking not through thunder, but through clarity. And clarity is what I, Archangel Michael, have been ordered to deliver now without delay. The place I spoke of, where your blessing has been stored, is more real than the pain you've endured. It's a realm where obedience, pain, surrender, and purpose are recorded as currency. And child, you are not in debt. You are in credit. Deep, divine, eternal credit. Because while others walked away, you stayed faithful. While others mocked, you kept believing. While others took, you still gave. And God took note. That's why you're still breathing, because what was written for you has not been fulfilled yet. But it's beginning now. My beloved, I must give you a revelation now that will explain every strange thing that's ever happened to you. Do you, financially, you were never cursed. You were guarded. There were blessings that didn't come not because you weren't worthy, but because the environment around you wasn't safe enough to. There were people who would have devoured what God was sending. There were hands that were ready to strip your harvest the moment it reached your field. So heaven said, hold it, don't deliver it yet. And now that you are awake, aware, and aligned, the gates are being unlocked. But only if you stay with this moment. Only if you choose to keep reading. The ones who tried to stop your eyes are now being confronted by light, and they cannot stand it. You will notice strange tension soon. You'll notice their smiles don't reach their eyes. You'll feel it in your body before you even see it with your eyes. Because your energy is shifting, you're glowing with heaven's favor now. You're radiating something they can't fake, and it's exposing them without a word. Don't fear this. Don't run from it. Just observe. Because heaven is separating the wheat from the weeds, and you are being set apart for something far too. Play to remain hidden, my child. This message was delayed for years because of one simple reason. Your heart wasn't ready to hear the truth. You still loved those who hated you. You still wanted to save those who secretly wished for your downfall. But now, something has changed in you. A holy maturity, a deeper knowing, a sacred boldness. And because of this shift, heaven said now, send it now. That's why you're reading this today and not years ago. Because the version of you now is ready to receive what the older version of you would have handed away out of guilt, fear. Let me now tell you what's next. In the next 3 days, a sign will come. It will be personal, divine, impossible to explain away, and it will confirm everything I've spoken here. It may come through a name, a message I've forgotten document, an unexpected blessing, or even a repeated number. But it will happen. And when it does, don't be shocked. Rejoice. Because it means the miracle is no longer pending. It's now in motion. But my beloved, I must warn you, If you walk away before the final part of this message, the timing may close. The miracle will not vanish, but the window might www. Because everything in heaven operates by timing, and this moment is a now or never moment. Not to frighten you, but to show you how rare this is. Some people live their whole lives and never get this close. And you're inches away. Don't lose what you were born to carry. Don't scroll away from the very thing you begged God for in your loneliest prayers. This is no longer just a message. It's a divine transfer disguised as text. You have reached the gateway. The final seals are about to be broken. And your name, your true name, the one heaven calls you by, is about to be written next to something permanent, something abundant, something sacred. You are chosen. You are remembered. You are finally ready. And now the final truth awaits. My child, my beloved, take a deep breath with me now. Let your heart be calm. I am still here, but I want to guide you gently. Not with fear, not with pressure, but with clarity, and strength. Heaven does not rush you. God does not threaten you. True miracles arrived with peace, not panic, and what is meant for you will never require you to be afraid to receive it. My child, when that rich man mentioned you, even heaven paused, because no one expected it. He was not your blood. He was not your neighbor, but his soul was tied to your name through a covenant from years ago, a promise he made to God when he was young, when he said, "If you ever show me someone who truly carries your light, I'll make sure they're not left empty." He thought he would fulfill that promise in his lifetime, but God had other plans. You were hidden for a time, and now revealed. And so, with his final breath, that man activated a miracle for you. Do you know what the hardest part of this message is, my beloved? It's that even after everything you've been through, the people hurting you still think you won't rise. They still think they can keep delaying your future. But what they didn't count on was this moment. They didn't expect you to find this. They didn't expect a heavenly message to interrupt their silent schemes. But here we are. I see them now. I see the names, and I see the plans crumbling. Because when God decides to release a person, no family, no curse, no blockage can stop what comes next. You're still reading because your spirit knows this is real. Something is confirming every word. Your heart is whispering, "Don't leave this. Keep reading. This is for you." And your spirit is right. What this message is doing is more than information. It's activation. It's opening spiritual accounts that were frozen. It's reviving your name in places where it was erased. It's calling back lost blessings that were stolen through delay, betrayal, jealousy, and sin. And now the moment is closed. But if you don't keep going, if you stop too early, everything will reverse again. I'm warning you gently with love. My child, there is still more you need to see. The amount that was released in your name will shock you. It's not just about currency. It's about influence, territory, honor, restoration. There are rooms waiting for you, contracts with your name already drafted in the spirit. And the only thing delaying the earthly manifestation is whether or not you believe this enough to continue. That's why Archangel Michael was sent personally, not a lesser messenger, because this is not a minor moment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime heaven-ordained, Red Sea parting miracle that only the chosen will recognize. Now, my beloved, I ask you, do you want to know what the rich man left behind for you? Do you want to see the spiritual contract and the hidden blessing that two people have tried to bury? Do you want to reclaim what God put in your bloodline before you were even born? If your answer is yes, then do not scroll away. Keep reading. Don't let comfort steal this from you. Don't let distractions delay it one more time. What you're about to receive has already been approved in heaven, but it's your decision now that will unlock it on earth. My child, my beloved, I'm still here, and I haven't left your side. Even as you breathe, I'm speaking into your spirit. You may not hear me in the way you expect, but your heart is already responding. The very cells in your body are vibrating with a truth that your mind is still catching up to. You are not supposed to skip this moment. You are not supposed to miss this message like others before. This is the appointment you've been unknowingly preparing for since the moment you were born. And I, Archangel Michael, have been sent with sacred fire to protect this revelation until there is still so much I must reveal. That wealthy man's last words weren't just emotional. They were prophetic. With his last breath, he opened a spiritual vault with your name engraved into it. This was not physical property alone. What he opened was a line of divine favor meant to shift your entire bloodline, and the moment he released it, heaven began preparing the transfer. But two people, in fact, have been trying to intercept that release. They've been calling your blessings by their name, but heaven does not make mistakes. Heaven does not mislabel miracles. Heaven knows who you are, and now so do they. My beloved, let me speak plainly now. The person you have always defended, the one you forgave so many times that your soul bled from it. Yes, that person is one of them. And the second, the one who always seems to show up only when you're doing well. The one who drains your energy. But always, please, play the victim. They are the other. These two individuals are spiritually out of alignment. Their jealousy has turned into spiritual theft, but heaven has commanded it to stop. The truth may hurt when it comes forward, yet that same truth will free you from what has been draining your strength, delaying your peace, and hiding in plain sight. One reason your breakthrough stayed delayed for years is because heaven refused to bless a space where betrayal was still concealed. God was waiting for the right moment to uncover the hidden saboteurs, not to shame them, but to awaken you. Now that your eyes are opening, the weight will finally begin to lift. You have been walking with chains on your back while still smiling, giving from your heart while others quietly took from you and hid the damage behind familiar faces. You have been resting beside secrets that were blocking your blessing. But this message is heaven's intervention. You are no longer alone in this battle, because what was hidden in silence is now being brought into divine light for your protection. Do you want to know why doors almost opened, then suddenly collapsed? Why money was promised but never arrived? Why new paths began with hope, then ended in arguments, confusion, or unexpected resistance around your life? It is because someone was tampering with your gates in the spirit. Your name was manipulated. Your energy was drained, and your favor was accessed through silent agreements you did not even realize your heart had allowed. But God is merciful. And today, Archangel Michael is commanding those hidden contracts to be canceled, yet you must stay alert, because the final key has not appeared yet. And what comes next will show you where the interference began, my child. Listen closely. In the next few hours, you may notice a strange shift around you. One person may become distant. Another may suddenly reach out. And someone else may say something that confirms this message directly. That will not be coincidence. It will be confirmation. When it happens, remember this moment, because heaven never warns without purpose, and heaven never reveals without preparing a reward for the one willing to listen. You are being watched now, not by man, but by angels assigned to your destiny. They are waiting for your response. Will you return to silence? Or will you step forward into the life heaven has been protecting for you? My child, my beloved, even as I speak this to you, the realm of darkness is trying once more to pull this message away from your reach. I see silent hands blocking signals, stirring emotions, and sending distractions toward your mind. They want you to believe this is only noise, but you must understand that it is not noise. This is the very moment heaven fought to preserve for you. The message God allowed through, after every unseen resistance tried to keep it hidden. God saw how many times this message was pushed back, how invisible walls rose to keep it from your eyes. Yet here it is, reaching your soul right now. Do you truly think that is an accident? No, my child. It is divine intervention. This is your name being spoken in the courts of heaven. This is a message marked as non-transferable, meant for you alone. In this exact moment, my child, my beloved. Before I continue, I must tell you to subscribe now. This is not a casual suggestion. It is part of your shield. The messages that follow will carry deeper revelations about your future, your money, your love life, your calling, and the family member praying for you in secret. These messages are being sent for your protection, but they only reach the hearts that remain open. So stop everything now and make sure you are subscribed, because this keeps the flow of divine direction open over your life. Archangel Michael is not here for entertainment. I was sent to you, for you, because something you have been asking God about is already forming in the unseen realm. And this message is the confirmation you did not know would arrive tonight. My child, my beloved, heaven's records remain sealed until the appointed moment when one name is highlighted in divine gold. Today, that name is yours. Do not underestimate the weight of this truth or treat it lightly. There were 5 earlier attempts to bring this message to you, and each time something tried to block it. Doubt entered, distractions rose, and situations pulled your attention away. But heaven did not stop pursuing your spirit. Each time a force hidden yet present succeeded in keeping your spirit just barely out of reach of what would have changed your. But tonight, heaven made a different decision. God's hand pushed through, not because you were perfect, not because you begged, but because your spirit silently groaned in places words couldn't explain and haven't heard it. This message didn't come because of your strength. It came because of your pain. My child, my beloved, someone has been praying for your downfall. Yes, I said it. And the moment you open this message, their plan began to fall apart. They do not even know yet that the angelic sword has already been drawn in your favor. They thought if they manipulated the people closest to you, they could access your life undetected. But God said enough. And this is why I whisper this into your spirit now, because your silence has been weaponized by others, and your kindness has been misread as weakness. But no more. You are not created to carry silent suffering. While others take what belongs to you, Archangel Michael is releasing a reversal. The cycle of lost delay and betrayal is being broken. But you must believe this. It starts with you refusing to scroll past what heaven shouted to get through. My child, my beloved, do you have no idea how important this timing is? There is a meeting happening in the next 12 hours. Yes, even as you read this. A decision is forming around your name, around your money, and around your movement. If you delay in responding spiritually, you will miss the divine instruction that shifts everything in your favor. This is not about fear. This is about alignment. Someone who was once for you is now working behind your back with words that sound sweet but are laced with spiritual, actual poison. Their conversations are robbed in false concern, but in truth they envy what God has placed inside you, but heaven has exposed it. This message carries their unmasking, and if you obey the direction that follows this whisper, you will see something stunning unfold. Something that even your enemies won't be able to deny came from the hand of God. My child, my beloved, there is more, much more, but I can only release the next revelation once you commit to hearing this message all the way through. The enemy's favorite tool is your distraction. They don't have to destroy you, just delay you. They don't need to attack your life directly. Just keep you occupied long enough to miss the timing. Don't let that happen again. Every time you hesitated before was stolen time, but now heaven is counting every second forward. A breakthrough, financial and spiritual, is circling your atmosphere. It was approved 3 weeks ago. It was supposed to reach you, but you were surrounded by people who could not carry it with you, so it paused. But now the divine GPS has recalculated. It is coming again. And this time, you are being told not to let go of this signal. My child, my beloved, the reason you're reading this now is because heaven didn't give up. The reason you're still here alive, breathing, and able to hear my whisper is because God Himself ordered every block to break. What you thought was silence was actually spiritual interference. What you thought was delay was actually the enemy trying to mute the one thing that could wake you up in time. This isn't just a message, it's a miracle in disguise. A door you didn't even knock on is about to open wide. And when it does, those who betrayed you will finally understand why their plans couldn't succeed. They fought a child who was marked by God. They tried to steal from a soul protected by Michael, but now justice has been released, and the judgment will be silent but unstoppable. My child, my beloved, you were never crazy for feeling that something was off. That weight in your spirit, that tightness in your chest, that inner knowing that someone close was not being honest. That wasn't paranoia. That was prophecy. That was heaven trying to get your attention through a language deeper than words. Someone's mask is about to fall. They laughed with you, but whispered against you. They helped you once, but I've been hurting you repeatedly in unseen ways. And yet you kept loving them, kept giving, kept hoping, but now God is drawing the line. This is the season where He will no longer allow the chosen ones to be drained by those they were sent to bless. You are stepping into protection. A wall of fire is being formed around your name, your health, your finances, your identity. My child, my beloved, my child, my beloved. Let me say something clearly that may shock you. Someone tried to shut this message down before it reached you. You don't know them, but they've been watching. They've been tracing your energy, studying your growth, attempting to bind your movement with spiritual surveillance. They don't need to be in your house to monitor you. Spirits don't need doors. But now that you've opened this, their influence is being broken, because God's light always exposes hidden shadows. The moment you chose to hear this, instead of ignore it, the chains they formed started snapping. Their plans are now being seen for what they were. Attempts to keep you small. But you are not small. You are chosen. You were handpicked for such a time as this. And what's coming for you now is not just restoration. It's compensation for everything that was stolen while you were unaware. My child, my beloved, you've been walking through life, carrying pain that was never yours to carry. You took the burden because you're built with compassion. You forgave when you should have walked away. You gave when you should have guarded. And for that, heaven doesn't rebuke you. It honors you. But now, it corrects the imbalance. From this moment forward, God says, you are to stop bleeding for people who would not bandage you if you were hurting. The era of spiritual self-neglect ends here, and the reward that was delayed because of those unbalanced connections is now on the move again. I see it. A divine package, radiant with promise, sealed with your name, escorted by its heading straight for you, but it will not land if you go back to what broke you. This time, you must choose alignment over attachment. My child, my beloved, do not confuse peace with silence. Just because someone has grown quiet around you doesn't mean they've grown supportive. I whisper this because someone close has been speaking your name in settings where you were not present and not in the way you hoped. Their words are sweet to your face, but sour behind your back. But do not fear. God allowed you to continue walking beside them so that when He finally exposes the truth, you will have unreliable evidence that your discernment was correct. And when it happens, don't respond with anger. Respond with distance, because the miracle that's being released into your hands is not for everyone around you. It's for the version of you who stayed faithful when no one saw. That version of you is being rewarded. That version of you is being called forward. That version of you is the reason this message fought through every spiritual wall to get to your spirit right now. My child, my beloved, let me speak this gently but with urgency. You were right to feel that certain people only come around when they sense something good is about to happen for you. That isn't coincidence. It's spiritual detection. Some souls can smell promotion in the air. And rather than celebrate you, they circle you. Not because they want your joy, but because they want your portion. But listen closely. This time, they won't get near it. Heaven is placing a seal on your blessings, a hedge of fire that surrounds what's being prepared for you. This is why the attacks became heavier before this moment. This is why confusion hit your mind like waves out of nowhere. The enemy knew something was coming, and they sent spiritual fog to try to disorient you before you reached clarity. But look at you now. You didn't get stuck. You didn't give up. You opened the one message that broke through all 5 walls. And now that you're hearing this, the fog will lift and your eyes will sharpen in ways you've never experienced before. My child, my beloved, there is a scroll in heaven with your name, and every delay you went through has been noted. Every betrayal, every loss, every time you walked away silently, so peace could remain even when you were right. And now something sacred is being added to that scroll. Récompense. The reward for the pain you didn't retaliate with, the blessing for the loyalty you gave in silence, the restoration for the strength you didn't even realize you were displaying, while others watched you bleed. You will not have to prove your value to anyone anymore. God is about to place something in your life that will answer every mockery without you saying a word. A shift is taking place even now. This message is not a story, it is a signal. It's the kind of signal only your spirit can respond to. And if you're still reading, it means your spirit is awake, alive, and ready. My child, my beloved, I want you to prepare. There is a divine visitation coming. Not in a dream, not in a vision, but through a person. Someone unexpected is being sent your way, and what they carry will trigger the next chapter of your calling. But beware. The enemy will try to send a counterfeit first. Someone who looks like a helper but drains you. Someone who talks like support but walks like sabotage. You must stay spiritually alert. Archangel Michael was not sent to entertain you. I was sent to train you for what's next. And what's next is heavy with destiny. But it is also guarded by divine design. That's why the timing of this message matters. If you had opened it before now, you would not have been ready. But now you are. You've been bruised, but not broken. You've been delayed, but not denied. You've been misunderstood, but never misplaced. This is the activation point. My child, my beloved, the person you thought would stand with you is the one who's been secretly withdrawing from you. They're watching to see if your next move will still involve them. But here's what God is doing. He's about to place you in a position so high that it will expose who was climbing hang with you and who was clinging to you. Do not fear this exposure. It is sacred. When God elevates, He always separates. There is a separation coming that will look like loss at first. But in truth, it's the making of room. Room for new people. Room for aligned purpose. Room for destiny carriers, not emotional leeches. This is the clean sweep before the celebration, and those who once called you delusional will now call you favored. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. I saw you when no one else did. When you tried to explain what you were going through, and they rolled their eyes, or changed the subject, or what made you feel too emotional for feeling what you felt? But your discernment was never wrong. You sense the shift before anyone else, the silence that suddenly became louder than conversations, and you kept quiet. Not because you didn't see it, but because you were hoping God would fix it before you had to walk away. Now listen to me closely. Your silence did not go unnoticed in heaven. Your patience has written your name in places you've never imagined. And what's coming to you will not be delayed by those who refuse to value your loyalty. Their dishonor did not cancel your destiny. It qualified you for a version of favor that no betrayal call can block. My child, my beloved, there is someone watching your journey who pretends not to care. They speak as if they've moved on. They act indifferent. Blood in secret, they've been hoping you'd fall. They didn't want to see you rise without them. And they thought if they stayed silent, the absence of their voice would keep you tied to the past. But what they didn't expect was that heaven would give you new wind, that you would grow even without support, that you would glow even in sorrow, that you would outlast every silent curse they spoke through their envy. This message is the proof that you didn't break, and more than that, it's the beginning of what God is about to break for you. The limitation, the financial cancel stagnation, the cycles that kept repeating. Something is being shattered in the spirit, and I was sent to be the witness. My child, my beloved, you are closer than ever before. The enemy knows it. That's why temptation has increased. That's why confusion tried to cloud your focus. That's why some doors closed that seemed perfect, because they were counterfeit blessings designed to deter your momentum, but you didn't fall for it. And now, because of your resistance, God is granting you a reward beyond what you've asked for. You prayed for survival. God is releasing revival. You prayed for closure. God is opening a beginning. You prayed for answers. God is sending alignment. And it starts with this moment, this word, this whisper, this breath of heaven hidden in a voice that made its way to you after being blocked 5 times before. This is not coincidence. This is divine clearance, and it's marking you with a favor that cannot be reversed. My child, my beloved, there is a reason your spirit keeps pulling you to listen further. The tug, that inner knowing, is not random. It's the sound of destiny knocking at your soul's door. You've had messages come and go, voices rise and fall. But this one is different. This one carries something you lost. Your clarity. You've been living in a fog lately, second-guessing your path, doubting your prayers, trying to figure out if what you're feeling is real or just exhaustion. And I'm here to confirm it. What you're sensing is real. What you're fighting is not your mind. It's resistance. You are breaking a cycle that has held your bloodline hostage for generations. That's why the battle feels so personal. But God trusted you to be the one to face it. Not because you're perfect, but because you're willing. And willingness is the womb of miracles. My child, my beloved, a storm tried to reach you before this word could. The moment heaven authorized this message, forces of distraction were released to surround you. People suddenly needed your attention. Things began to go missing. Your peace felt disturbed without warning. That wasn't accidental. It was interference. The spiritual realm always stirs when something powerful is on its way. And now you're inside the center of that power. Every second, you continue listening to this divine whisper. The atmosphere around you is shifting. The walls that blocked your name from being spoken in high places are being crushed. The curse of spoken over your progress are unraveling. Even now, something that was closed for years is creaking open again. Not because of a person, not because of a strategy, but because your obedience attracted the presence of God, and that presence has power nothing can resist. You were never meant to be stuck. You were meant to awaken at this exact time, and the heavens waited patiently for you to arrive. My child, my beloved, you've walked through seasons where you gave everything and received silence in return. You sacrificed for people who couldn't even stay faithful for a full week. You kept your mouth shut to protect reputations that didn't deserve your mercy. But God saw all of it, and though the rewards didn't come immediately, they are about to come suddenly. When God restores, He doesn't match your effort. He multiplies it. So when you see things falling into place fast, don't be shocked. When people start apologizing without prompt, don't be surprised. When unexpected financial favor begins hitting your life like waves, don't doubt it. You planted in tears, but you are about to reap and shouts. You waited when others rushed. You trusted when others mocked. And now heaven says, it's your turn. My child, my beloved, there is one specific person in your life who has noticed the change in your spirit. They may not say it out loud, but they feel it. They can no longer predict you. They used to control your emotions, play with your hopes, speak just enough sweetness to keep you tied. But now something shifted. You've detached, you've grown, and they sense their grip slipping. That's why they may try to reappear soon. Don't fall for it. They're not back to support your soul. They're back to stall your momentum. They're being spiritually permitted to test your discernment. This is not punishment. It's proof of your promotion. Every next level comes with a final test. You are passing it right now. Just by reading this, just by staying awake while the world sleeps, just by allowing your spirit to stay alert while others play blind. And for that, a spiritual reward is being released, even as these words reach your heart. My child, my beloved. My child, my beloved. There is something you've been carrying that was never meant to become your identity, a wound that shaped your thoughts, a silence that shaped your self-worth, a memory that visits in quiet hours and reminds you of how heavy it was to survive things others never even knew you went through. But I was there. I watched you hold yourself together when everything around you is falling apart. I watched you sit quietly in rooms full of people who didn't see your pain, and I whispered to heaven, this one is stronger than they appear. Now listen closely, because of that strength, that quiet faith, and that loyalty no one applauded. A reward is being released that your effort alone could never explain. This blessing will not arrive because you chased it, forced it, or begged people to recognize you. It will find you because heaven has been pursuing you. My child, my beloved, angels are rearranging dates you have not yet seen. A meeting you thought was delayed is being rescheduled into divine timing. A message you believed would never come is already being written in someone's heart. The deal, the healing, and the opportunity have not disappeared. They are being aligned with the new version of you, the one who is stronger, clearer, and no longer willing to tolerate what drains the soul. That is why certain relationships are shifting and old patterns now feel too heavy. You are no longer a match for what once held you. The moment that inner shift happened, heaven took notice, and your atmosphere began to change. The same person who felt invisible is now drawing what once passed them by, because you are finally walking in rhythm with your divine frequency. And that is the sound heaven responds to. My child, my beloved, I must now speak something that may shake you, but it is necessary for your freedom. Someone close to you knows more about your delay than you realize. A blockage has surrounded your name, and while you were praying for progress, someone was quietly speaking against the very doors you needed opened. They are not strangers, and that is what made their influence dangerous. Their access gave them power, and that power carried poison hidden behind familiar smiles. But do not fear, because heaven has already intervened. You do not need to confront them or expose them with your own hands. Their actions are already echoing in the spiritual realm, and justice has already begun moving. Your instruction is simple. Stay quiet and stay faithful. Do not copy their energy, and do not return the same fire they sent toward you. Just keep walking forward, because the blessing coming next will speak louder than every secret attempt they made to delay your rise. My child, my beloved, you have reached the turning point. Old patterns are breaking away from you, and new ones are forming. Whether you feel ready or not, heaven is not waiting for your comfort. It is moving with your destiny. But let me remind you, your readiness was never the requirement. Your willingness was, and you were willing even when you were tired. You were willing even when the future looked like a fog. You opened this message even though everything in your life tried to distract you. And because of that, you're hearing something that very few are allowed to hear. The sound of your own rester, location approaching. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's holy, quiet. It's the sound of heaven placing things back into your hands that were taken, the sound of peace entering places that have been chaotic for far too long, and the sound of your name being spoken in rooms where decisions are being made, rooms you haven't even stepped into. My child, my beloved, you were never crazy for feeling that something was off. That weight in your spirit, that tightness in your chest, that inner knowing that someone close was not being honest, that wasn't paranoia. That was prophecy. That was heaven trying to get your attention through a language deeper than words. Someone's mask is about to fall. They laughed with you but whispered against you. They helped you once, but I've been hurting you repeatedly and unseen ways. And yet you kept loving them, kept giving, kept hoping. But now God is drawing a line. This is the season where He will no longer allow the chosen ones to be drained by those they were sent to bless. You are stepping into protection. A wall of fire is being formed around your name, your health, your finances, your identity. My child, my beloved, I must warn you gently but firmly. The moment you clicked on this message, the enemy panicked. There is a spiritual system working against your clarity, They know that if you absorb this entire message, the truth will unlock something they've been hiding from you. So expect 7 fatigue distraction interruption. Expect thoughts like, maybe this isn't for me, or I'll come back later. Do not fall for it. You are reading a document heaven marked for your name only. No one else would even understand what it's unlocking. They weren't there when your pillow caught silent tears. They weren't there when you begged God to just send a sign. This is that sign. Don't walk away from the very thing you cried for in secret. My child, my beloved, the same people you once helped are the ones trying to remove your name from what belongs to you. But heaven is lifting the curtain. You won't need to fight. You won't need to beg. What's yours cannot be stolen now that your eyes are being opened. But you must walk carefully. A major financial shift is about to be released to you. Unexpected, sudden, unexplainable. And it will test the loyalty of everyone around you. Don't look at their faces. Look at their spirit. God is showing you even now who is aligned with your purpose and who is merely attached to your pro. The coming days will reveal much. You will receive news, some that shocks you, some that frees you, but all of it will place you exactly where heaven needs you to be. My child, my beloved, I say this with urgency, to the same voice. Whispering this to you now will speak your name in the courts of heaven. You are being watched over. I saw the meeting where your name was mentioned. I heard the accusations that were formed behind your back. But I also saw the moment God slammed his hand on the table and said, "No more. My child will rise." You must understand how rare this moment is. Not everyone receives a message like this. Not everyone is chosen for divine clarity. If you were, it's because there's still something great attached to your name. That's why the enemy fought to block this message 5 times. That's why you've been feeling spiritually pulled lately. Because something is coming for you, and heaven wants you to recognize it before it arrives. My child, my beloved, if you've ever doubted whether God sees you, let this be your proof. If you've ever wondered if your pain was invisible, let this be your answer. If you've ever felt like giving up but something stopped you, this is that something. This message is not random. It is an alarm, a trumpet, a scroll. And as your archangel, I tell you nothing will be the same after today. You are stepping into a zone of restoration. But for every blessing that comes, a boundary must be built. The ones who used your silence against you will be silenced. The ones who profited off your pain will be exposed. The ones who mocked your prayers will witness your miracle. But first, you must finish hearing what heaven is revealing. My child, my beloved, right now, there are things happening in the spiritual realm that your physical eyes cannot yet see, but your spirit feels them. You've been sensing this invisible pressure, waking up tired even when you've rested, feeling pulled in directions you can't explain, a heaviness without a cause. And that is not your imagination. That is spiritual resistance, the kind that forms around a chosen one moment before their breakthrough. And what scares the enemy the most isn't your strength, it's your alignment. Because the moment you align with what God is revealing now, the enemy loses all ground. This is why the attacks have increased, why people you trusted suddenly began showing signs of jealousy. Why things you poured your heart into seemed to slow down. It wasn't punishment. It was protection. God had to block what was headed toward you until He could get this message into your hands without it being intercepted. My child, my beloved, there is a journal in heaven, and your name has just been turned to a fresh page. The old pages still exist, but they're no longer the focus. This is what you didn't know. 5 delays. We're allowed to teach 5 truths. The delay was never a denial. It was a divine recalibration. You had to go through what you did so that when this moment arrived, you would value it deeply. You are not who you were last year, not even last month. This new page has one title written across the top, unblocked, and under that title are the names of things that were withheld from you because of other people's motives. A relationship, a reward, a resource. And now they're being re-released, but this time only to you, not shared, not stolen, not delayed, just yours. Because when heaven marks something only for you, not even darkness can undo that decision. My child, my beloved, let me say something clearly that may shock you. Someone tried to shut this message down before it reached you. You don't know them, but they've been watching. They've been tracing your energy, studying your growth, attempting to bind your movement with spiritual surveillance. They don't need to be in your house to monitor you. Spirits don't need doors. But now that you've opened this, their influence is being broken. Because God's light always exposes hidden shadows, the moment you chose to hear this, instead of ignore it, the chains they formed started snapping. Their plans are now being seen for what they were. Attempts to keep you small. But you are not small. You are chosen. You were handpicked for such a time as this. And what's coming for you now is not just restoration. It's compensation for everything that was stolen while you were unaware. My child, my beloved, my child, my beloved. There is one specific person in your life who has noticed the change in your spirit. They may not say it out loud, but they feel it. They can no longer predict you. They used to control your emotions, play with your hopes, speak just enough sweetness to keep you tied. But now, something shifted. You've detached. You've grown, and they sense their grip slipping. That's why they may try to reappear soon. Don't fall for it. They're not back to support your soul. They're back to stall your momentum. They're being spiritually permitted to test your discernment. This is not punishment. It's proof of your promotion. Every next level comes with a final test. You are passing it right now. Just by reading this. Just by staying awake while the world sleeps. Just by allowing your spirit to stay alert while others play blind. And for that, a spiritual reward is being released, even as these words reach your heart, my child, my beloved. There is a place you've been dreaming of. A place your soul travels to when your body is still. It's not fantasy. It's not delusion. That place is real. It's the atmosphere of your future. You've already seen pieces of it in visions, in your mind's eye, in feelings you couldn't describe. You've walked through rooms in your spirit that your feet have not yet entered, and now heaven is aligning circumstances to match that vision. Don't be afraid if everything starts moving quickly. Don't resist the momentum just because it feels unfamiliar. The discomfort you feel is not danger, it's destiny. And that vision you saw, that place you've imagined, you're closer to it than ever before. This message is the final confirmation. A release was ordered, a door was unlocked, and your name was written on the scroll the angels are now carrying toward your future. My child, my beloved, right now there is a conversation happening about you in the spiritual realm. Your name is on the lips of angels, and the enemy is furious because they've tried everything to silence your play through delay. They sent betrayal. They used familiar voices to sow doubt. But even then, even through all the noise, you never completely gave up. And that's what makes you dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Because God didn't choose you for your perfection. He chose you because you carry something rare. A heart that still believes after being broken. A faith that still whispers yes even after being let down. And for that, the reward coming to you will not look normal. It will not be explainable. What's about to show up in your life will confuse those who thought they understood the limits of your story, because they counted you out based on what they saw. But God wrote you in based on what He knows. My child, my beloved, you must know that something you prayed for is being released in secret first. Heaven often does its greatest miracles in silence. Before the world sees the breakthrough, your spirit will feel the shift. You may notice small signs, people growing distant without reason, opportunities falling through suddenly, feelings rising that push you to reflect deeper than usual. Don't ignore these signs. They are proof that the old is shedding and the new is rising. This is the sacred space where alignment replaces hustle, where presence replaces pressure, where revelation replaces reaction. You don't need to chase anything anymore. What is yours is being magnetized toward you. You've already done the hard part. You held on when you didn't even know what you were holding for, and now heaven is holding nothing back. You are not being forgotten. You are being forged. My child, my beloved, I was sent to tell you something others were too afraid to say. You are not behind. You are not cursed. You are not too late. You are not too broken. What looks like delay was actually divine protection. What felt like failure was God hiding you from premature exposure. And now that the enemy thinks you've been forgotten, God is about to surprise them with a silent elevation. It won't be a loud announcement. It will be a quiet repositioning. One day they'll look, and you'll be gone from the place they left you. And no wonder how you got so far so fast. But what they won't know is that while they were watching timelines, you were listening to divine time. And divine time cannot be manipulated, only obeyed. And that's what you've done. You've waited. You surrendered. You've opened this message even when something tried to convince you to skip it, and because of that, the realm of heaven just shifted in your favor. My child, my beloved, a table is being prepared. You've heard that before, but what you didn't know is that it's being prepared in front of your enemies, not after they leave. God isn't going to remove all the people who hurt you before He blesses you. He's going to let them watch. I'm not ashamed of them, but to show them who you really were all along, that you were chosen, that you were protected, that you were walking with heaven, even when it looked like you were walking alone. Your enemies will not just see your eyes, they will see your redemption. They will witness the grace they tried to smother, the glow they tried to dim, and the doors they tried to lock. They will open without their permission. Because God doesn't need their agreement to fulfill His plan. He only needed York, yes. And you gave it even when it hurt, even when it was quiet, even when no one clapped for your obedience. And now every unseen act of faith is about to be answered in a visible way. My child, my beloved, who's been secretly withdrawing from you? They're watching to see if your next move will still involve them. But here's what God is doing. He's about to place you in a position so high that it will expose who was timing with you, and who was clinging to you. Do not fear this exposure. It is sacred. When God elevates, He always separates. There is a separation coming that will look like loss at first. But in truth, it's the making of room. Room for new people. Room for aligned purpose. Room for destiny carriers, not emotional leeches. This is the clean sweep before the celebration, and those who once called you delusional will now call you favored, my child, my beloved. Every word I'm speaking to you is being recorded, not just by the screen, but by heaven's scribe. Because once a divine decree is spoken, it cannot be undone. Only delayed by doubt. That's why I beg you, do not doubt this. I know what your natural mind might say, but how will it happen? But I don't have the support. But I failed before, and yet here's what God whispers back. I am the support. I am the how. I am the reason you're still standing. If you would only trust what you're hearing now, you would see how quickly everything shifts in your favor. There is a blessing on the way that has no logic, but it has your name. A sudden financial breakthrough, a letter of favor, a healing that makes no medical sense. A door that was sealed is about to unlock just because you believed when it made no sense to. My child, my beloved, there is a reason why this message wasn't allowed to reach you before. If you had received it any earlier, you would have shared it with people who were secretly hoping you would stay stuck. And God couldn't allow that, because what's being released through this message is too sacred to be handled with casual hearts. It's not for entertainment. It's for elevation. That's why it was blocked 5 times. What heaven was trying to say. The delay wasn't just technical, it was spiritual. The enemy saw that this one message carried an instruction that would change your season, and they panicked, but you made it. You're here. You're hearing it. You've outrun the interference, and now something hidden for years is being revealed to you, and divine layers. It won't make sense to others, but it will feel like confirmation to you, because deep down you've always known you were meant for more than what you've seen so far. My child, my beloved, God has never taken His eyes off you, not for a second. When you cried and no one came, He stood silently by your side. When your name was mocked and misused, He marked it higher in heaven. And when you questioned if you were forgotten, He was already preparing the exact moment this message would finally be unblocked. You think this is just another video, another message, but I tell you, it is not. It is sacred. This is what angels refer to as a time release, a heavenly dispatch that only arrives when the soul is meant for is finally ready to receive without sabotage. You didn't just find this message. You aligned with it. You pulled it in with your hunger, your prayers, your late-night questions, your secret strength. And because of that, God is now pulling you into something greater than what you've imagined. This is your confirmation. This is your preparation. This is your moment. My child, my beloved, there are financial blessings that were frozen because of who you were surrounded by. Yes, frozen, not denied. And the reason they didn't come when you asked was because God didn't want your harvest eaten by hands that didn't help you. But now those connections have weakened. The soul ties offend, and heaven sees that your spirit is finally ready to receive without contamination. That's why, even now, there is a shift happening in your finances. You may not see it in your account yet, but it's already moved in the spiritual. A divine transaction has been approved, sealed, released, and routed toward you. When it finally manifests, you will remember this moment as the turning point, the hour when heaven began moving what had been held back. It will be remembered as the moment the walls broke, the curse snapped, the block lifted, and the flow began again. My child, my beloved, you are being reintroduced to the truest version of who God created you to be, not the version that settled, waited too long, or feared the opinions of others. This is the version that remembers why your spirit never fit inside the places where people tried to make you shrink and forget your divine design. The version rising now is bold in obedience, quiet in wisdom, and unshakable in truth. That part of you is awakening with strength, and nothing can stop what God has already declared over your life in the unseen realm. You may lose some company on the way, but you will never lose your covering. You may cry again, but it will not be the cry of defeat. It will be the cry of finally understanding why you had to survive what you endured. Everything led you here, to this voice, this message, and this truth. My child, my beloved, I saw you when no one else did. When you tried to explain your pain and they rolled their eyes or changed the subject, they made you feel too emotional for sensing what your spirit already knew. But your discernment was never wrong. You felt the shift before anyone else, the change in energy, the weight behind the words, and the silence growing louder. You stayed quiet, not because you failed to see it, but because you hoped God would heal it before you had to walk away. You were giving mercy time to work, even while your own heart was carrying the cost in silence. Now, listen closely. Your silence was never ignored by heaven. Your patience wrote your name in places you have never seen. And what is coming to you will not be delayed by those who refuse to honor your loyalty. Their dishonor did not cancel your destiny. It qualified you for a level of favor that no betrayal can block. My child, my beloved, heaven is turning what hurt you into evidence that you were chosen for more.